Hello. In this video, I am going to go through all of the cards in my brother Alex Gavi Nest Warden Jeskai cycling deck. The first cycle costs 0, and whenever we draw a second card, i.e. we cycle once, we make a 2/2 dinosaur. And in this video, I'm going to go through all of the creatures, instants and sorceries, artifacts and enchantments, and lands that make up his Jeskai cycling deck. Starting with the creatures. Flourishing Fox. Whenever you cycle another card, you put a ++ encounter on it, and it has cycling itself. Something you're going to see in this deck is that as many cards as possible have cycling, because we care about discarding, we care about drawing, we care about drawing our second card. We have effects that make our cycling 2 less to activate, so now it's free just like our commander does. So Flourishing Fox is a great card there. Min, Wily Illusionist. For 1, a blue and a blue, it's a 1/3. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, make a 1/1 illusion, but this creature gets +1/+0 for each other illusion you control. And whenever an illusion you control dies, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to that creature's power from your hand onto the battlefield. So, what you want to do with this card is essentially be cycling twice per turn on each player's turn. So you can get as many illusions as possible into play, and then every single time one of them dies, you just start dumping your hand out. So Min is a great card here. Akim, the Soaring Wind, the other commander, the backup commander for the Gavi deck. 2 blue, red, white, 3/4 flyer. Whenever you create 1 or more tokens for the first time each turn, make a 1/1 bird. And then for 6 mana, you can give those creature tokens a double strike. Splendid Mare, it's a 3/3 lifelink, but it has cycling 1 and a white. And then you may cycle it by putting, and then whenever you cycle it, you put a lifelink counter on something. So if you have any creatures that get +1/+1 counters whenever you draw cards, which I believe are in this deck. Let me see. I think they're in this deck. So anything with a high power, you can put lifelink on and really take advantage of it there. Plus it has cycling. Ethereal Investigator, 3 and a blue, it's a 2/3 flyer. It enters, investigates X or X the number of opponents you have, so you're probably going to get 3 clue tokens. And whenever you draw your second card each turn, it makes a 1/1 flyer. As you can see, there's a little bit of like a token sub-theme here. So making more tokens while doing what your deck already wants to do is great. Valiant Rescuer. For 1 and a white, it's a 3/1. Whenever you cycle another card for the first time each turn, make a 1/1, and it has cycling itself. Ironcrag Pyromancer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, it deals 3 damage to any target. So you draw for your turn, you cycle once, you get to deal 3 damage to anything. You cycle twice on an opponent's turn, you get to deal 3 damage. Oh, and or you can make 2 1/1 bats. Every historic card in your hand gains cycling 2 and a white. So that's all your legendaries, all of your artifacts, and there are plenty of mana. He has a lot of mana rocks in this deck. Since he doesn't have access to green, he ramps through mana rocks. And cards like this can give those mana rocks cycling. And then every single time you cycle a card, Joe Grant gets a +1/+1 counter. Prava of the Steel Legion. As long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+4. So your 2/2 cats would become 3 6s. Your 1/1 spirits would become 2 6s. Great attackers because they don't die during combat, and then you can pay mana to create more tokens. Dranith Steiner, 1 and a red for a 2/2. Whenever you cycle another card, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and it has cycling itself. Triskaidekaphile, for blue and a 1, it's a 1/3. You have no max hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. Draw a card. In this deck, you're going to be drawing additional cards with your cycling, with your other effects that you draw cards, and this is just like an alternate win con in this deck. I am pretty sure that Alec is playing effects that, like, whenever you draw 1 or more cards, you draw an additional card, so you can get up to that 13 easily. Plus, it's just a way to dump your mana. Psychosis Crawler, 5 mana for an XX, equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. So it's a way to take advantage of the fact that you're cycling, drawing additional cards, dealing damage to your opponents. Routine Moloch, 5 mana 4/4. When it enters, exile a target card with cycling from your graveyard. Until end of your next turn, you may play that card, and has cycling itself. So something you cycled away earlier in the game, you have a chance to now cast it, which is great. Consecrated Sphinx. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. That means that every of your opponents just starting of their turn that is just sitting in play, you trigger all of your, if you draw 2 more cards this turn, just off of them drawing their 1 card for a turn. Aven Wind Guide gives all of your creature tokens flying and vigilance, and then come and embalm itself, especially if you have like discarded this, if you gave it cycling somehow. There's plenty of cards in the deck that do that. You can embalm this after you cycled it later. Bastry, Tomorrow's Champion. You can exert it to make 1/1 cats. we already have cats being made with our commander. We already have a token something. And then we can cycle it, which is something the deck wants to do, to give all of our cats hexproof and indestructible. Now, at a bare minimum, our commander is making plenty of 2/2 dinosaurs. And he's actually made little paper tokens, Tigress, Leo, Percy, Katrina, and Golden Paw. These are 2/2 dinosaur cats that he made, that he named, which is pretty cool. So you can give those hexproof and indestructible. Dranith Healer, whenever you cycle another card, you gain a life, and it has cycling itself. Elish Norn, everything on your side gets +2/+2. Everything on your opponent's turn side gets -2/-2. Making your 2/2 dinosaur cats into 4/4s is very strong. Very strong. The Council of 4, 3 white, blue, 0, 8. Whenever a player draws their second card during their turn, you draw a card. Guess what? You're trying to do that. Whenever a player casts their second spell, you make a 2/2 knight. You care about tokens as well. And then Rayleigh, the Everwise. For 1, a blue and a red, it's a 0/3. It gets +1/+1 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. We have quite a few instant sorceries, and I'd say a good amount of them also have cycling. But whenever you discard 1 or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. So now when you go to cycle, you discard 1, draw 1, and then the Everwise lets you draw another card, which is great. So those are all of the creatures in his deck. Now I'm going to get into the instants and sorceries. And then whenever we get into the artifacts and enchantments, that's when like a lot of like the glue that really keeps, let's say the oil that really keeps the gears turning works. But all of these cards that have cycling are the gears of the deck. So Decree of Justice can pay a ton of mana to make it into XX Angels, or you can cycle it and then just pay X to make 1/1s. So it's cycling, it's tokens, it's on theme, it's fantastic. Neutralize is a counter spell. It's a cancel that has cycling. Super good here. Complicate, another counter spell. Counterless pays 3, or you can cycle it and just have them pay 1. Get a little mana tithe in on theme is fantastic. Clear, destroys a target enchantment, especially ones that are like, oh, you can't draw more than 1 card each turn. You can't attack with more than 1 creature. Great things to destroy with clear. Oh, and it has cycling. Starstorm, this is your board wipe of choice, but guess what? It also has cycling. Startling Development can make something into a 4/4. So you can make one of your creatures possibly not lose to die to a lightning bolt. But I think even more importantly is the fact that you can do this to one of your opponent's creatures. So if your opponent has a 6/6 commander, they're playing a Tali, let's say, and they block a 5/5 with it. You can use Startling Development to make their Atali into a 6/6. Now it's a 4/4. And then it dies in that combat. And then also just has cycling. So that's pretty good. Shredded Sails can destroy an artifact. 4 damage target creatures flying. But it also just has cycling. As you can tell, a lot of these cards are coming from Exelon. Or the commander set that came out with Exelon. Because there was a cycling deck as it started. But this is like a lot of great upgrades to this deck. Like Clear was not in the first version of this deck. So Slice and Dice, 6 mana, 4 damage to each creature. Or you can cycle it to just do 1 damage to each creature. The nice thing is that cycling ability doesn't kill all of your cats. They're just 2/2s. Slice and Dice would kill them, and sometimes you just need to do that. But being able to cycle it, getting rid of any like pesky 1/1s, I'm thinking Saplings, I'm thinking Llanowar Elf effects, all that kind of stuff would be gone. Hieroglyphic Illumination, draw 2 or cycling. Radiant's Judgment, destroy a big creature, power 4 or greater, or cycling. Coordinated Charge, creatures who control go +2/+1 until end of turn. Make your attackers lethal to a player that just took a bunch of 2/2s. Make them formidable blockers and really deal some damage this combat, or cycle. Deem Worthy, destroy a big creature, or cycle. Forsake the Worldly, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or cycle. Pursue Glory, attacking creature get +2/+0 until end of turn, or cycle. Leadership Vacuum, just get rid of a problematic commander. Alec is a big fan of this card. Target player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone, and then you draw a card. Sometimes you just can't deal with them, and that's the best way to do it. And then Achroma's Vengeance, destroy all artifact, creatures, and enchantments, and then it also just has cycling. So those are all of the instances of sorceries that make up the deck. Now we're going to get into these cards. Fluctuator is one of the best cards in this deck. 2 colors for an artifact. Cycling abilities you cast cost up to 2 less to activate. A lot of these are just like free to cycle now, which is fantastic. Military Intelligence. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. You have a lot of 2/2s. Sacrificing 2 of them to draw a card is great. Because if they die in combat, that's what I mean by sacrificing. Illuminous Seas. Whenever you draw a card, put a Force Shadow counter on it. Remove 8, make an 8/8. Oh, and it has cycling. So if you put it into play, You can just, every time you're discarding and drawing, you get to put counters on this, and eventually you have a formidable 8/8 you can attack with. And guess what? It's also a creature token, which is on theme. Creature tokens you control get +1/+1 in Vigilance, Intangible Virtue, just 2 mana. Tectonic Reformation. Each land card in your hand has cycling, 1 red. Oh, and this enchantment has cycling. Something that I think is really good here is in the early game, let's actually do this backwards. In the late game, all of your lands just have cycling. You don't need more lands, just whatever. In the early game, on turn 1 and turn 2, you want to make sure you get land drops. You kept a bad hand. You can just start cycling stuff away to draw cards and just see a ton of cards in this deck, which is great. Extravagant Replication. For 4, a blue and a blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of another target non-land permanent you control. Plenty of good things you can copy there. All of your Ominous Seas, Intangible Virtues, Tectonic Reformations I just mentioned. Some of your creatures, great things to copy. Is it Locket? Is an artifact. They taps for mana. You can your Joe, the card that gave it cycling. You could cycle it away, or you can just sacrifice to draw cards. You're not playing green, so you need ways to ramp. I also like Is It Locket because you can do it on your opponent's turn, and it counts as your second card for turn, which is what triggers your commander and some of your other creatures. Jeskai Banner only draws 1 card. So on your turn, if you have nothing to cycle to draw your second card, you can sack the banner to draw that second card. Astral Drift is another phenomenal card. Whenever you cycle it or another card while it's on the battlefield, you may exile a target creature. When you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So you can actually use this to get commanders off the battlefield for not just your turn, but for the entire next of your opponent's turn. So you can get blockers out of the way. You can get blockers out of the way for your opponents, or you can get commanders out of play so they don't get that ability. Because the next end step is insane. If your player 1, 2, 3, and 4, and player 2 wants to attack player 3, and it's currently player 2's turn, you could say, okay, I'm going to exile your commander. Now player 2 can attack player 3 safely. And then when it goes to player 3's turn, if they're still alive, they don't even have that commander for that turn. It's still in exile, which is insane. Fantastic card. And it just has cycling. Whiting Announcement, 2 and a white for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter on it. If you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn, draw a card. There's your second card for turn. Otherwise, make a 1/1 token. And once it has 3 invitations on it, creatures you can token +1/+1. Just becomes an anthem. It's making tokens. It's drawing your second card each turn. It's just doing what you wanted to do. Is it Signet? Need ramp. Or Signet? Need a ramp. Knowledge is power. Creatures you control get +X/+X, or X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn. This can make your cats, your 1/1 spears is flying, just really hard to deal with. Azorius Signet. A Verity Circle. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you may draw a card. And if you have extra mana, you can tap things down. Command Sphere. Ramp that you can sacrifice to hit your second land drop. Boros Locket. You can sack it to hit both land drops in a turn. Teferi's Ageless Insight for 4 mana. Legendary enchantment. Great card in this deck. If you would draw a card, except for the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 instead. Makes all of your cyclings discard 1, draw 2. Crystalline Renaissance for 2 and a blue. Whenever you cycle a card, you may have it become a copy of another target permanent until your next turn, except for it has this ability. So now you can have this enchantment become copies of any permanent, not just the ones you control, which is great. Rhystic Study, need to draw a ton of cards. Cathar's Crusade, fantastic card in any deck that's making tokens. Whenever a creature enters, you put a ++ counter on each creature you control. You're making cats, you're making all kinds of tokens. The Crystal, Ragran Crystal, I believe. You could cycle it away, or it's a mana rock, which is great. Smothering Ties just ramps you. Rune of Protection Green cycles. I believe this is the only Rune of Protection in this deck. So Alec just knows that he loses a lot to the big green stompy decks, and being able to prevent that damage to you from a green source is fantastic, and you can just cycle it away. Azorius Locket, hit your second land, hit your second draw. Improbable Alliance. Whenever you draw your second card, make a 1/1 fairy, and you can pay mana into it to draw and discard to try to hit that. Good old Soul Ring. Every deck needs to play a Soul Ring, basically. And then Is It Cluestone? You can pay a blue or a red to draw a card, which makes it so that you can hit your second draw. Those are all of the artifacts and enchantments. Now I'm going to get into the lands. I have them sorted. So with lands with cycling, there's a good amount of lands in Magic that have cycling, which is just fantastic, because then your lands aren't dead in the late game. You can just cycle them away, and they're on theme. So tons of great options. There's ones that cycle away for 1 blue. There's ones that cycle away for a white and a blue. There's ones that cycle away for just 2 colorless. They now have, they finished the cycle of these, I believe. So he has the white and blue one and the red and white one. I don't think I saw what the last one be, a red and blue one. And then Reliquary Tower, as you start to draw a ton of cards, especially once you're drawing more than your deck, when you're drawing more than 7 or have effects or draw extra cards, having no max hand size is great. These are just all of the, I'll give you a chance to read that one. These are just all the non-basic lands in his deck. And then, of course, he has a ton of basic lands. Keeping it simple. So those are all the cards that make up Alex Gavi Nest Warden deck. I want to thank him for letting me borrow his deck to make this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it. Leave me a comment explaining how you would improve the deck. If you're thinking of building one, are there cards that have come out that I might not realize, he might not realize? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.